As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming with it's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done by the time it hit you, you're not surprised.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Galtopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. No tagline. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for part 3 / the finale of Almighty Tevin versus DSP, Darkside Phil, Pigroach. For the honor, the glory, and the respect. As you guys know, ladies and gentlemen, being that this is our finale, let's go ahead and have a small backstory, I guess, on how all this came about. Ladies and gentlemen, we go back to, well, at current, I'm recording this on November 5th, 2018, and I'll explain why that is in just a second. This all started back October 31st of 2018, which is literally only a few days ago, when Phil had his Halloween horror video game marathon. An absolute travesty. One of the worst things that I've ever seen come out of Phil's camp. It was boring. It was unengaging. Excuse me. Cat was bored. Phil was complaining and being a little bitch. And someone had to be the scapegoat. And who does DSP Darkside Phil choose? Almighty Tevin. Praise be Almighty. But why Tevin? Why would Tevin be the catalyst of all of Phil's failures? Why does he have to take the blunt of it? Well, first things first, as it pertains to the stream itself, there was no interaction between Darkside Phil and Cat. They literally did not interact with each other at all. Phil played the game horribly and basically was glued onto that chat, hoping to see what little shekels trickle down. Cat was completely self-conscious and only focusing on the chat because she had nothing else to do. The games weren't even there, as far as I'm concerned. The games weren't even part of it. The games were just not a very good choice. Cat's costume was okay. Makeup, less is more. But overall, she was just fine. She was all right. Phil's costume was thrown together. It was cheap. Because it was cheap, it only ties into what Phil was trying to do. Phil said that he was going to choose a Halloween costume that was very interactive, something that everybody can kind of participate with and making a talking point. Going with this Bob Ross, aka Blob Ross, aka Gout Ross costume, which wasn't even Bob Ross. It was a cross between Bob Ross, Jesus, and somebody else. The whole thing was terrible. It looked like, they reminded me a lot of like Charles Manson or even Jim Jones, who, when they used to talk to their cults, you know what I'm saying hello children, and it was really bad. And here's another thing too, which he contradicted himself that whole day. I thought you said you weren't a children's entertainer, yet you're calling everybody on stream children. That's creepy. Anyway, the whole thing was a complete and total clusterfuck. Halfway through the stream, Cat leaves. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you who have been keeping up, you already knew this was going to happen. Phil said that, I would say, as far as maybe 3 weeks to a month out, that, hey, she's not going to be here for the whole stream, we don't think. She's only going to be here for a couple of games, and then she's going to go. He went ahead and spoon-fed these children that. He called them children, so there's no reason why I can't. He spoon-fed these children this, basically the whole time. That was part of the whole promotion of this whole stream. This whole event, if you will. All the way up till maybe 15 or 20 minutes before Tevin ended up taking the hit. Now, how was it that he was able to get over on his fan base like that? So blatantly. Well, I don't know. I really don't know how 20 minutes ago, actually, the day before let's go as far back as that. The day before, he told you guys, hey, Kat's not going to be here for the whole stream. She has things that she needs to do. It's her only day off besides Monday being today. So there's not going to be anything from Dave today. So, you know, we'll just try to take advantage of the time that we have with her here, and then we'll just have a fun interactive event stream. You know what I mean? Because it is Halloween. How do we go from that to it being Tevin's fault? How does that work? Ladies and gentlemen, so it goes, so this is basically how it goes. She's only going to be here for a little while, to it was all Tevin's fault, hashtag glow gang, to now the new excuse is, oh, she doesn't like gory games. She doesn't like games that are vile or have a lot of blood and gore and stuff like that. It just completely creeps her out. It turns her off. She shuts down, if you will. She can't deal with it. Let's talk about each situation. Let's break each situation down. First situation, that she wasn't going to be there the whole time because she had something else to do. Whether she had a Halloween party that she had to go to, whether she had some type of event at some place locally with some people that she might work with, or people that, you know, we dare say might be friends. Whatever the case may be, she had something else that she needed to do. And she only wanted to spend a little bit of time with Phil, just so they could have some time together, because they were going to spend all the time together that they needed to on Monday. Because as you know, Phil packs a whole week's worth of stuff into one day. Activities, that's the word I was looking for. So that was our first one. Second one, Almighty Tevin, praise be Almighty. It's all his fault. Well, because Tevin had pulled in 2 to 3 times the viewership that Phil did in that particular day, Phil felt like those are my viewers, and whatever money that Tevin may or may not have received is my money, and it's bullshit that he's stealing my content. And more importantly than that, ladies and gentlemen, how dare he send his fan base over to go ahead and troll Kat? She never did nothing to none of them. They don't know her. They don't know nothing about her. But they're in there talking about her past life and talking about things that she's trying to run from, and just stuff that doesn't need to be brought up. It's all Tevin's fault, and Tevin did it. And then, ladies and gentlemen, off that, Phil decides to throw the threat out there that, oh, well, Tevin's going to have it coming. He's pissed off the wrong people now. And now it's time for retribution and whatnot. He's gone too far. So now he's going to have to get dealt with. And then we got the first backtrack. But that has nothing to do with me, though. These are people who came to me on their own will, or by their own will, on their own volition, and said, hey, Phil, we saw what happened. We saw what he did. We saw what Tevin and his fan base did to Kat. That was bullshit. We're going to handle it from here on out. You don't have to worry about anything. We got this. And Phil was like, okay, well, shit. All right, then. Cool. Go ahead and make it happen. Go ahead and make it happen. Which evolved into the third part of that where, oh, well, Tevin got away clean. He got away clean because no one can find any of his other streams and whatnot. No one can flag it. So he's getting away with it scot-free. Everything he's doing is illegal, but because he covers his tracks, you know what I'm saying? No one can flag it. No one can take him down. And Phil admitted that, one, he's tried to flag Tevin's channel before. He's tried to flag Tevin's videos before, which means by proxy, he's had people in his own fan base to try to do the exact same thing. And none of it's worked up to this point. This, like I said, Phil, this isn't your personal hug box Twitch. This is a different story over here. This is the gladiator pit. Okay? This is the Colosseum. This is Rome. And you left here because you couldn't compete here. That's why you're over there. So don't think that you can dictate anything here. Because if you could, you wouldn't have left. With that being said, Phil says that, oh, you know what I'm saying, it's all out of my hands. People want to go ahead and get back out and fine, so be it. But this is karma. This is what happens. And he just pissed off the wrong people this time. He went too far. But Phil, it wasn't too far when the SOK went ahead and did their stuff on you. It wasn't too far when the escort saga came about and people accused you of that. It wasn't too far when you were hit with the sorry, let me move that up. It wasn't too far on a bunch of different situations when you got DDoXed and whatnot. Remember that, right, Phil? When you got doxxed, when you got swatted, all those things. I mean, you did, after the fact, you went ahead and made a big deal about it because you realized exactly what the situation was. But more importantly, what you thought the situation could be, and you tried to go ahead and play off that. But in the moment, nothing came out of that. It was just a laugh. It was just a joke. Oh, you guys thought you'd get over on Dark Side Phil. Nah, you can't do that. What happened then, Phil? What about all those situations? The Kingdom Hearts situation with Panda. What about that? This right here is the first time in a long time, at least to my recollections, that you've blown up the way you did. And you did it for 2 straight days. Which leads into where we're at right now with day number 3. We're now all of a sudden backtracking. I don't have nothing to say about that. Which leads into our third situation, which is, oh, well, Panda doesn't, or sorry, Panda, that Kat doesn't like gory games. She likes more suspenseful stuff. She doesn't like horror. This, that, and the third stuff triggers her, so on and so forth. Which probably ties into some of the situations in this girl's past. Fair enough. And I'll leave it at that. But at the same time, though, Phil, every time you explain something about Kat, more and more of her past comes out. The very past that you're supposed to be trying to protect us from. And vice versa. You don't want us filthy, filthy, mentally ill detractors finding out more and more about this girl. Despite the fact that we know just about everything. Just about. You're supposed to be protecting her from us. And yet, you're slowly but surely just pushing her out in front. Like how you human shield her, you know what I mean, the first time and the third time, and say, oh, well, the only reason why Kat came on stream is because she wanted to come on stream. I told you guys that I was having this Halloween event and whatnot. She said she wanted to participate. I said, cool. But I knew what was going to happen, but I let it happen anyway. But she's the one who wanted to come on there. That's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong, guys. She knew what my plans were, and she asked if she could participate, and I said sure. But I knew what was going to happen though, and yet I still let it happen. You see why you're taking so much shit over this, Phil? So it's no coincidence that you're taking Monday off, being today, being with that debacle that happened last Wednesday, and all the shit you've taken over the last couple days, and then the threatening Tevin part is definitely something that no one's going to forget. Not only is your dumbass threatening another individual on a whole nother platform, but last time I checked against TOS of Twitch, threatening is not allowed. Neither is slandering, and you did both of those things to Tevin. And not only that, but you incited retribution on him, which is also another little interesting quirk that I'm just going to throw out right now. It might come up later, it might not. It's funny how you have individuals who contacted you directly, who want to take this into their own hands directly, who you said had authoritative either positions or power or whatever, or influence, whatever the case may be, and they said they're going to handle it. Yet, you consistently repeated that there's no way I can get a hold of him. There's no way that I can do this. There's no way I can do that. Yada, yada, yada. The only way it can happen if somebody does this, or if yada, yada does that, or if all of you do this. Isn't that interesting? That sounds like dog whistling to me. And it's not just the fact because I'm a cute and cuddly pup. It's just, that sounds like dog whistling. How is it that you already have a group that have come out of the abyss that says they're going to handle this, Phil, don't worry about it, and now you're trying to incite almost a miniature riot, a call to arms against that same individual if another group already has them if the other group already has it all under control. It's almost like that first group doesn't exist, and now you need the second one to pull up the slack, which is also even more funny because this whole, we can't find Tevin's material, he doesn't post everything, so on and so forth. Neither do you. Matter of fact, most of the threats that you put out and your call to arms and everything was on a second stream that, according to at least my little bit of knowledge as it pertains to it, was erased damn near immediately. You were quick to get rid of that. Now, sadly, I don't have exactly how long it took you and whatever the case may be, but I know for sure you got rid of it almost immediately, which is funny because you try to call out Tevin for some shit similar to that, but you're doing it too. You've been doing it longer. That's if Tevin does it at all, which he doesn't. So that's another interesting aspect. So not only did you blatantly lie on why the whole stream failed, but then you lied on somebody else, accused him of stuff that he didn't actually do, while you yourself are actually doing some of those very acts. And you even took it to a whole nother step by threatening him. and then doing a call to arms for retribution. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the actual broadcast at hand now. I have 5 short videos that come from a former project that I did a while ago. I also have Ghostly Winds here, who has a video that he sent to us that will be part of the broadcast, and then one of my favorites, Snort Burnell, DsPgaming. I'll try to convince Kat to be here. I'll try to convince Kat to return for Christmas, and Phil's boyfriend. This is going to be probably a longer broadcast than I've done in a while, because I want to save some of the longer videos for the holidays in particular, because there's going to be a lot of shit going about. But this is important. Even though it is fair to say that this is a victory for Tevin, and Tevin's going to walk away essentially unscathed, and even if he didn't, we all know who to blame. And please believe, Phil, not that I'm saying anything about anything, but if anything does happen to Tevin, you're fucked. Oh, you're royally fucked. Proper fucked. So for your sake, I hope nothing does happen. But if anything does happen to Tevin, we all know who to go to. We all know who we're going to rail on. And if any retribution comes about, all I got to do is sit back and record it. And we'll report on it and then record it. So there you go for that. That's how that situation is going to go. But I want to delve deeper. And we're going to go back a little bit to hopefully flush out the message. To flush out my thought process and give you guys an understanding. So before we get into the broadcast at hand, ladies and gentlemen, a moment of silence, if you will. To the doubt, to the snout, and to the gout. Praise be. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today for the roasting, the succulent cooking of the Pigroach. He has reached too far. He has pushed the boundaries beyond what his limits should have been. He should have taken his L and been okay with it, but he decided not to. So for that, he'll have to be punished. Now, with that being said, my lord, I intend to rip him piece by piece, but not physically. Merely his mind, his ego, his spirit. Tevin can have his physical form. The rest belongs to me. And in turn, it will belong to you. Which I guess in turn will belong to Tevin. For the gout, for the doubt, for the snout. Praise be Almighty. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the broadcast at hand. I hope you guys have a good time. And hopefully you guys get the kind of point that I'm trying to make out of all this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes. Oh yes. A GTG Network and Productions. You guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work. Is DSP News. Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing a special report today on what is known widely as Brownie Gate, or the Great Brownie Conspiracy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try... Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you guys just a real quick refresher. This right here comes from the video called The Brownie Plot, aka Brownie Gate. I recorded this on January 6th of 2018. The 2 videos, now obviously that broadcast was like 3.5 hours long, but I will also cite my sources. I'll link that in the description as well as my video itself if you guys ever want to get around to listening to it. Let's see, the first one is by Snort Burnell, oh yes, addressing the escort situation. Second video by Mr. Huffstuffs, DsPgaming #BrownieGate. And let's see, the other Snort Burnell video is I will try to convince her to return for Christmas, Phil's boyfriend, and Phil's boyfriend, that should be funny. And like I said, Ghostly Winds, DSP versus Tevin. Let's go. To give you 2 different perspectives of this whole situation, as entertaining as it might be. Ladies and gentlemen, either A, this is one of the most, this may very well be one of the most creative and well put together trolls that we may have ever seen, or Phil is a liar, which we pretty much all know that already, and he's overextended himself. Let me explain. First off, I hope you guys liked the early GTG radio. There were some people that I wanted to shout out everybody who, well, as best I could, I should say, who really stuck in there with that last video. It was super long, and it was late. And shouts out to LA, dude, who sat there and listened to it twice. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it. Hopefully you liked your particular shout out that we put together for you. Kevin and Kenny thought you'd like it. So let's talk about this Brownie conspiracy. Okay, so the essentials, ladies and gentlemen, is it goes back to Phil's tax problem. And with that being said, the tax issue is he wasn't paying tax. He wasn't paying a state business tax, and in turn, he went to his fan base to basically bail him out, as Phil does with all of his problems. Well, then we have another aspect of that. Then you tie in the new girlfriend also. And this new girlfriend has been, the speculations on her has been rather numerous. And at the time when he was taking his basically early Christmas vacation, it had coincided a little bit with a young lady named Kimberly, who is basically a high-end escort. And she had thrown some stuff out there that would make one believe that it's possible that Phil and her did spend that bit of time together. Now, a lot of people will say, and a lot of people think that that as decent, as well put together as her story is, there's some holes. It looks fake. At the same time, a lot of people also can coincide with a lot of what she's saying as it pertains to the timeline, and a lot of things that she said beforehand, before Phil actually said it. What Browniegate, what makes the things interesting about Browniegate, so to speak, excuse me, is the fact that we're assuming Ahmad and whatnot. By now, his name's out there. But Ahmad had asked Phil for a brownie recipe that he had made with his girlfriend. Now, we know for sure that Phil and his girlfriend had put some cookies together and made some other little treats or whatever. But one of his mods asks him about a brownie recipe that him and his girlfriend made. Phil, not realizing that he might have been put in a type of situation, ends up telling him what the recipe is, or at least where to find it. This right here is a couple of days after Kimberly online had said that they had made brownies and whatnot. She had made her Dutch brownies for him, or whatever the case may be. So now it's called some things into question. This mod right here feels like he may have caught Phil in a lie, and he himself is starting to have his doubts. Now, there's a problem with that, ladies and gentlemen, which we will get into 2 videos later on that will actually expand upon that. First off, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me. This mod, Phil has admitted to us, has gone in deep cover, so to speak, to see what the detractors and the haters and the trolls have been. My apologies in advance, by the way. I was super sick around that time, and I should have just held off on that video. Mistakes were made, but my apologies yet again. Dspnews. So this guy has played double agent before, essentially, and he's fed Phil information. He's laid out circumstances and supposed plots and situations and whatnot. So, with that being said, how much can you really take for granted on that? If the guy's been deep cover before, you know what I mean? Second, and this one is kind of crucial, depending on who the person is, if it's who I'm thinking it is. He's been in the trenches with Phil for a very long time. A very long time. Long enough to make you think that I would, or at least to make myself think that his loyalty to Phil would never be shaken. Not at all. So it would seem odd that now, after all the time this guy's put in, all the money that he's put in, this guy has bled for Phil. Now, am I saying literally, like he's literally bled for Phil? Like he's been leaking plasma? No. But he's put himself in some situations to defend Phil, and he's bled for Phil. So why now? Why now are you willing to show some doubt to Phil? Why now? Well, I propose to you this, ladies and gentlemen. I propose that possibly, I don't know for sure, obviously, but possibly that he himself is trying to play triple agent. Let me explain. This guy right here already has a history of going at deep cover for Phil to get him information. If this guy comes out and publicly doubts Phil and whatnot and leaks this whole story about the Brownie situation, that doesn't necessarily put him on the detractor side of it. But what it does is it allows him an opportunity to push himself. It allows him to position himself in certain circles to at least get more information than he would otherwise. And in turn, he can play off of that to expose who is truly behind this. If Kimberly is a real person or if it's just an elaborate trolling. And like I said, and keep in mind, Phil has been is usually in constant contact with this guy through, direct messages and PMs and whatnot. So they have a quote unquote intimate type of relationship. So you're telling me that these guys couldn't have possibly come up with a plan to do this, to figure it all out? Now, just something to marinate on, ladies and gentlemen, just something to marinate on. Let's go back to what I said before, whether this Brownie situation is an elaborate plot, just an amazing troll and whatnot, just a great way to end off 2017 leading into 2018, or did Phil fuck up? Let me explain. If it's an elaborate troll, then it's supposed to be what all of this is supposed to be, ladies and gentlemen. It's supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be something for us to laugh at and whatnot, analyze how stupid Phil is and just keep it moving. There is a bit of a backlash to that, though. If this is just an elaborate troll, and given Phil's sensibilities and how he feels the need to prove himself, he could, and he really does have a girlfriend, he's going to end up exposing her to prove his own point, which means he's going to end up putting her in the snowstorm with no clothes on. And that's going to end up getting people told on. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a problem. It's a very big problem that now Phil's basically being pressured by this trolling. Let's say if it's a troll. Let's say this whole thing's a trolling situation. It's putting Phil's back against the wall to where he has to bring this girl out. He has to put this girl into the limelight to justify, in his own mind, his own credibility, and in a slightly less but more entertaining type of way, his own manhood. I know most of you get what I'm saying. He has to put her out there now. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, when he initially told us about this girl, he said that, hey, I'm not going to put her out there. She has, I quote, no aspirations for having an online presence, meaning doing YouTube, doing Twitch, doing any of these things, which it sounds like Phil had her set up, or at least in his own mind, set up to have her do these things. Let's say, for example, this young lady is an 8, an 8.5, a 9. It would look good for Phil to have a very pretty young lady who is willing to stream, not just with him, but to stream on her own. There are plenty of couples who stream together with some very beautiful women who bring in that bread. Not all of them, because, some of them, you go by, you see the dog and pony show for a little while, and you may subscribe to them, and then you might throw a little money at them, and then you're out. I guess, if you're into stuff like that. And then you got some dudes who are in there for the long haul. So it's possible that he may have had that in the works for her, at least mentally. It was something that he was thinking about in the long run. But that's neither here nor there. Let's look at it from the other side of the coin, though, ladies and gentlemen. If it does come down to being that, let's say it does end up being a lie. Let's say that Phil really did pay this money to spend this time for the girlfriend experience with Kimberly. It makes him look like a total cock. It makes him look like a fucking idiot. And more importantly, it only it makes him look like a liar, or it makes him out to be a liar. But then now you have to question, what else has he lied about? The sad part about that is, ladies and gentlemen, is there always will be a core group of DSP fans who won't care and will continue to support him. And that enables him to continue doing what he does. So those are the two sides of it. You could say that it's a win and whatnot. If it's a lie, you could say that it's a win for the detractor community. It's not. It's not like anybody's, sitting here, getting ready to crack champagne open or anything. But at the same time, it doesn't change anything. It's not like it's going to be a mass exodus out of from him. He's always going to have a core group of people that believe in him. If it's a massive troll, he's going to end up exposing this new girlfriend for no reason, just to prove his own point. And that right there is kind of sad, because now I thought, yet again, Phil, I thought you said you were trying to protect her. I thought you said you didn't want to make the same mistakes that you made with Leanna. It sounds to me like you're doing the exact same thing. And one of the things that I'd like to point out to you as it pertains to whether if she's real or not, if she's real, if he really does have a girlfriend, she needs to sit there and listen to some of the things that he said recently and really evaluate if this is what she wants. If I remember correctly, and in the 2 videos that I've chosen, the first things he says is that, she's gonna move in, she's gonna find a job here, and she's gonna help me with this house and my bills. Second thing he says, and then she'll be able to start cooking and helping with the house, the responsibilities in the house. Third thing and final thing he says, she'll be able to, be there for that emotional support that, I really need after having a tough day and that, that together time that I really need with somebody. Okay, so what are you providing her, for example? What are you guys going to build together? The first 2 things that he mentioned were finances. How it's going to financially benefit him. I don't see any real benefits for her, to be honest. TBH. I don't see it. I'm seeing how this situation will work for him, not for her. And more importantly, he has already laid out what he expects her to do when she gets there. So what's the real payoff for this young lady to uproot herself from wherever the hell she lives at and come and move in with this guy who has what? A house that he's barely paying, a condo in another state that he refuses to go to, who is a toxic human being who's considered the King John or the fucking toilet of the internet? What future is in this for her? As I lay all this stuff out to you, these right here are the sets and circumstances that make you believe that he's lying. So now he's going around saying, you guys will see, the detractors will see when she finally shows up. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do let's plays together or co-ops. We're gonna do DSP tries it. I'm gonna bring back Cooking with the King. You'll see. All you guys who doubt me and whatnot, wait till she comes back and you'll see that she's real, and you guys will finally have my back, and you guys will realize that you guys are all idiots the whole time for doubting me. Is she an imaginary friend that you're trying to dream up? Who are you trying to convince, Phil? Us or yourself? He speaks like someone who is so insecure within himself that he has to, it's almost like he has to make her exist in his own frame of mind. So in the hopes that she would almost materialize in the real world. It's destructive. Now, let's go back to that mod that went AWOL, essentially. Either A, he's essentially playing Triple Agent and whatnot, because the way, at least from what I've seen and how it's laid out, he has a lot of benefits from playing Phil, playing, the detractors, the haters, and the trolls, and then going back and playing Phil again. And more importantly, you got to understand, he has to have his own stints too. He has to have his own side that he's playing for. He has to have an ulterior motive to all this on his own. This is a lot to go through just for Phil. But then again, if it's who I think it is, this person's already bled for Phil in a public online setting. So this right here, I guess in some ways would be nothing more than just the logical step. We will see. But ladies and gentlemen, that right there is my initial report on what I feel about the Brownie conspiracy. At least some of it. I've listened to a lot of people talk about it and what their particular thoughts are. Like I said, we should all pretty much take all of this with a grain of salt on both sides of the spectrum. Yes, Kimberly has shown up in quite a few places, and the DMs that was sent between her and Phil are, well, they're blurred out, so we don't really know what's there and what isn't. There really isn't too much there, and that doesn't make her a liar, but it also, you could see where doubt would come into play. Yet again, ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to really straddle any part of the fence. I'm just here to just give you my idea or give you my thoughts on it. That's really all I can provide you. And a lot of it will come out of Phil's mouth directly. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into the video segment. You guys know how this works. It'll be Snort Burnell. We'll have GTG Radio, and we will end off with Mr. Stuffs. And I will have another segment of GTG Radio maybe, and then we'll have some closing thoughts. The following video will cover the fundraiser situation with Metal Gear Solid and how that nonsense is working out in its own right. Now let me cut in for just a second. That seems kind of funny doing that. The fundraising part of it is actually going to be in one of the later clips that I'm going to have for you, and you'll see why I chose it when we got there, or when we get there. Sorry, you'll see why I chose it. The fundraising situation was an interesting little gimmick he had on Twitch for a while until he fucked it up because he got greedy and he was damn near trying to turn it into like a monthly thing, and he stretched himself too thin. Twitch was like, no, why did you have to be greedy about this? And he stopped doing it. So, but like I said, it'll be an interesting listen, and that'll coincide into some of the stuff I've already said later. So let's continue. It's really just a tragic situation. It's a sad situation all around. But yet again, ladies and gentlemen, just laugh at it and move, essentially. I will say that for this young lady's sake, if the girlfriend is real, I should say, she really needs to kind of understand the person that she's with. Because look at how Phil is now. Phil is so manic on trying to prove that she exists that he's going to put her in the very jeopardy, or he's going to put her in the type of situation that he said he wasn't going to for nothing more than his own ego and nothing else. And it's, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I don't understand exactly what the situation is. I don't understand what he's trying to play towards. Maybe he's not trying to play towards anything. Like I said, he's greedy beyond compare. For someone who runs around and talks about mentally ill this, mentally ill that, it makes you wonder what how he is, where he's at mentally, if anything. But ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to talk about that now. We're going to go ahead and get into this whole Brownie situation. Should be interesting. As usual, leave your thoughts down below if you have any, as it pertains to the situation. And yeah, ladies.
DSP Part 2. This is just me giving my thoughts.
Okay, guys, so you heard my first two parts so far. This right here is Ghostly Wins, and he's going to be talking about the DSP Tevin situation, and he's also going to throw a little bit of LTG in there. I think you'll get his point and whatnot. I will go ahead and put this out there for Ghostly. He just woke up when he recorded this, so he's a little groggy, but bear with him. And he still had some excellent points. So by all means, please, I hope you guys absorb this. I will leave the link to this video as well as his channel in the description. Please go over there. Please check it out. It's a great watch. Here we go.
The DSP versus Tevin thing, which I find very idiotic, because at the same time with DSP saying that, oh, you're just resharing my streams and stealing my streams, which is illegal, which is not the case here because of the copyright law that you're allowed to criticize, have opinions and other stuff. So there's that to it, so it's not really breaking that law or anything. He's just giving his opinions and criticisms on DSP in general. Him threatening Tevin is sort of the same thing with LTG threatening other people and saying that, oh, people are restreaming my shit and all this other stuff and these people deserve to die and all this other stuff. It's just a bit baffling to me, to be honest. And Kat leaving because of Charles's also a natural thing, you're going to get trolled whatever you do or post. And the fact that DSP also wants to persuade her to make another appearance around the Christmas period is a little bit fishy, because one, she left for a good reason, and him trying to force her back in is kind of against her freedom of speech and choice, and not to mention will. And it also puts her in a somewhat hostage situation, which is also against the law. So the DSP, those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, and you should practice what you preach before you say that people are breaking the law, when you've done pretty much a whole lot more that could be considered law offensive and breaking rules of TOS and God knows what else, from wanting to abuse a 13-year-old girl, to being a pedophile, to being racist, to beating up other people, threatening people, actually wanting to cause a fight with someone at the FGC tournament, and then spreading lies about that, and then saying that the person that you were fighting declined, when you're the one that declined, and put your dick between your legs and ran off like a little bitch. And if you really think that anybody is going to believe you and just instantly report spam Tevin for absolutely nothing when he hasn't really done anything to you, when there's plenty of other YouTube accounts that have many videos on you, and really, you reporting just one person isn't really going to save your ass in terms of your taxes, the stuff that you've already done, the stuff that you're trying to do and trying to manipulate the situation and try and twist it around to say that it's everybody else's fault and not your own. The fact that you have a girlfriend in the first place isn't for romantic reasons or conversation reasons. You just want a girlfriend so you can treat them like your parents and let them do everything for you, because you don't really have a life worth living at this point. You don't really have any emotional respect for anybody but your damn self. You're a greedy, gouty pain in the ass, and no one respects or loves you. You pretty much just want cash just to throw away and complain more that you waste your cash and blame everybody else for it. The only reason you want to have Kat around with you because she's the one that does everything for you, from clean the house, clean you, make you dinner, make you food. You're pretty much treating her like your own personal slave. And what are you doing to actually help out, to contribute, to actually do anything thoughtful for her or respect her or anything?
Excellent point. So yet again, why is Phil molding Kat essentially into Panda when he already had Panda? Well, one of the reasons is because Panda got a job, and when Panda got a job and she got a little bit of responsibility, it put her around a new group of people. It basically made it to where, oh, well, I don't have to be dependent on Phil anymore because, I'm myself now. I have to leave the house, so I have access to the car. Panda made friends, I would assume, rather easily. And she was at a job that she really liked. So I'm surprised Phil didn't see the warning signs, but when she started to come home late because, I'm going to go out to have drinks with some fellow co-workers, some of the girls or whatever the case may be, or she started picking up more and more late shifts, Phil should have worried about it. But he didn't, because he only saw the money that was coming in. And as long as Din Din was on the table at the right time, or leftovers were still appealing enough to him, he didn't care. So with Kat, who was older than Panda, it's alleged that she's older than Panda, it makes a little bit more sense now that he can have someone who's I'm not sure if I go as far as calling her grounded, but someone who's a little bit more mature, who's been in that situation, who has that life experience, and try to remold her into what he wants while still having the added benefit of her going out, doing what she needs to do, and hopefully it not coming back and slapping him in the face. One could guess, anyway. Let's continue.
you hardly even engage in conversation. You're hardly paying much attention to her because you're gaming all day. So how can you actually have a relationship with any woman when you're just not giving a damn about anything but your selfish, greedy, pathetic self? It's just, what are you thinking? What the are you thinking? If I was in a relationship like that, I wouldn't want to be in the house with you. I wouldn't want to do anything with you. I'd rather be out of the house, be with someone worth it, and just party with friends and talk to other people, because what you're doing is just immature. It's pathetic. It makes you weak. And the fact that you're going after Tevin because the fact that he gains more views than you is just jealousy. And the fact that you have many other channels and people, hang on, I got alarm pop up there. You have other people other people making videos showing their criticisms, opinions, and concerns on you, and you just say, oh, you just pull like a Donald Trump scenario and go, oh, it's all fake news, it's all slander, when, to be honest, you and LTG both stream a lot of the time, and also post about things that have already happened in your life, like how many times like the the self-masturbation thing happened like over 2+ years ago, to LTG's past relationships or his past jobs and other stuff like that. That's not anybody else's fault but yours. You're the one that made the videos on your life. You're the one that actually talked to everybody about it online and made it public. And it's your fault that people are also making videos on it, sharing their opinions, criticisms, and trying to help you guys out, even though you just don't really want our help at all. You just want cash, and that's about it. Anything else that you try and do, you just try and twist and spin the words around, blame it on us, and then you call it a day. This is Ghostly Ones, and thank you, GTT. And that was my dad, so yeah, I think my dad's not very happy with the DSP situation at all, so this is Ghostly Wins, and I'm signing out. Make sure you subscribe to GTT Network, and back to you, GTT.
Your frame of reference of why I think this is so
Make sure you like and subscribe Ghostly Wins, and please go over there and check that out. That's the most important part. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Ghostly Wins touched on a bunch of different topics that I felt that was important. But the one at the end, where with the comparison to LTG, especially given his situation now, because I don't think him and his girlfriend are together anymore. And actually, I'm pretty confident it is, because the way he's posting, you can tell things are different in that house. I mean, it was bound to happen. It was only going to be a matter of time. I want to get more information first before we do a video on that, especially the alleged physical abuse and whatnot. I'm anxious to kind of see what that's about in a little bit more detail. But Ghostly is actually working on his own project as it pertains to that. You should really check it out, because he's deep diving into that. Yet again, Phil, you have someone else who is just someone who just watches this stuff. Is not necessarily a detractor, certainly not a fan of yours, and just goes off what he's observed. And look at what he's come about. Look at what he's compiled, and look at his thought process. It's a very powerful statement. You know what I mean? When you have an individual from the outside of all of this that can take a look at you over a very short amount of time and really come to the realization, like, wow, this guy's a real piece of shit. And these are one of the ongoing problems that Phil has. He keeps talking about, oh, I can't bring new people in because all that detractor bullshit out there, so on and so forth. But what about all the new people who come to your streams and ask a simple question and they immediately get hit? You know, they're immediately banned because you guys perceive it to be trolling, or it's a detractor meme, or whatever the case may be. What if it's someone who's saw a couple of detractor channels and like, okay, well, let me go over here and see what Phil's really about. And then it's like, hey, I'm new here, but can someone try to explain to me what this is? And then you just mistake them for the average troll, and it's like, you can diss the shit out on the way out the door. You're working against yourself. You keep talking about building this positive atmosphere, this positive stream, where it's just a nice chill place where people can get along and have a good time and just watch you play games and enjoy it. But you don't really enjoy the games. The atmosphere is shit. All the people who may have been worth a damn have already been run off. And now look at it. Now you have, what, 510, 516 subs to the channel, but yet your view count is only at like 300, 350, maybe 4. Only when some shit is actually something special comes along or something super drama based does the number get to 500, if not over. I don't know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue with the next video that is part of this package that I put together for you. There's actually 3 more. This one right here is going to be super short, but let's just go ahead and continue with it as needed. Here we go.
The thing is, people have said ridiculous things about me over the years. They call me a pedophile, they call me a thief, they call me a scammer, they call me this, they call me that, racist, right? Usually, in all of these situations, these slanderous things that are said about me
are based off of a snippet of truth. A tiny...
Now, why would you say that? Why would you say that? You're saying that, oh, all these things that people have said about me, there's a bit of truth to it. Thank you, Phil, for justifying everything that anybody has ever said about you, ever. What are you doing? Seriously. Why would you admit to any of that? At all? Oh my God. Oh my God. So it's so bizarre. I swear he doesn't think when he talks, and it's dangerous to be around people like that, because you never want to tell them anything because they will blurt it out, and it's dangerous for yourself. You know what I mean? You got to understand that oh my God, that's just not a way of conducting yourself. And for his age, he should know better. He really should. That's just destructive behavior, to be honest. Let's continue.
snippet.
no basis for it. It didn't happen at all.
Okay, so let me stop there for a minute. It's in that statement in particular, something that's kind of stuck with me for a long ass time, because you don't say stuff like that. You don't say stuff like that at all. And at the point of saying that, and then once the detractors got their hands on it and made of it what they did, as rightfully so, it ended up putting a seed of doubt into his fan base. Not just by the detractors, though, but by at his own hands. By telling your fan base that all these people say all these things about me, but there is a smidget of truth to everything that they say, it creates doubt, which was all that was needed. It was all that it was needed. Now, keep in mind, you still have your same people who will just ignore it and keep it moving. But in the back of their minds, they have to realize that, well, how much of this particular situation is true? How much of this trolling is actually the case? How much of that, you know, the backstory behind that meme, how much of that is really relevant? These are some of the problems that Phil has, and this is what happens when he talks too damn much. The more he talks, the more he puts his hoof in his own mouth. And it's just an ongoing process that, for whatever reason, he still can't seem to figure out how to stop. He can't make it go away. And it's something deep-seated. It's a type of need for recognition that's destructive, because he doesn't care how he gets it. And even if he did get positive light out of it, he can still turn it to shit. Ladies and gentlemen, we're continuing with the rest of the video. Those last two are going to be the situation with the Brownie plot. And you're going to see how you're going to see the parts that I wanted you to see now, I think. It should be in these last two. where his situation is with Kat and how he's supposed to be trying to protect her and all these precautions that he took, and he's not going to let the haters and trolls screw this relationship up like the last one, which goes back to what our current events where Phil accused Tevin and his fan base of screwing up his last relationship and so on and so forth. But you're going to actually see what his ideas are. You're going to see how a lot of that coincides into what's been happening in real time, or at least in much more recent times. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, there's a 10-month gap between all these videos except for Ghostly Wins. That was recorded last week. There's like a 10-month gap between the videos that I'm showing you and then what's going on right now. But look at how his behavior and his actions all came together to culminate in where we're at right now. Let's continue. DSP News.
Any way, shape, or form. What I've told you about my girlfriend is true. This is someone who just by chance we met over the summer, completely random encounter. There was no actual, it wasn't pre-set up. It wasn't like we were actively seeking to find each other. We met each other, clicked. It was something that grew into something beautiful. Over a course of months, we started seeing each other. It grew from there. We both had similar kind of life circumstances that had happened recently, and we clicked because of that, to the point where our love grew, and it became like we're almost...
Well, we're soulmates.
What? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not gonna discount the concept of love in general. And you shouldn't. Because you'd be surprised where you find it, and you'd be surprised how it works out. But to say you found your soulmate after like a couple of months, nah. There's very few people who do that. Saying that we click, saying that we get along, saying that we're on the same type of wavelength, okay, that's one thing. But to say you're soulmates after only seeing her a couple of times is a bit desperate, I think. And let's be perfectly honest with you. In truth, it must be her. You should just be honest and say that you're in love with her credit score. That's what That's what really makes you guys soulmates. Is what she provides for you, not for what you guys can build together. And that right there is the part that I think people miss a lot at least amongst Phil's supporters, is that he's been perfectly honest with you and told you what exactly he wants from her. He's been completely transparent with you, and yet you'll defend him tooth and nail on, it's all love and it's all love. Really? Because love is not the first or the second or the third thing that he says when he brings her up. It's all financial. It's all about what benefits him, not her. This isn't hard to kind of come to conclusions on. This is just really bad. It looks really bad.
And you just heard that out of the Ghostly Win video, too. He came to that exact same conclusion. So you're seeing how all this coincides. You could call this the mad genius of GTG, but it's not genius. It's just a lot of coincidence, and I tend to remember a decent amount of stuff. That's all. Let's continue.
And not because I'm a detractor, it's just look at it from a normal situation. When you look at your girlfriend, when you look at your wife, would you look at your fiance or whoever your significant other is? The first thing that you see, do you see what they're bringing to your situation financially? Do you see what they're going to cook for you tonight? What's the first thing that you see when you look into that person's eyes? I would doubt that it's what they can do for you. How they make you feel is one thing, but what they can do for you is another. But see, if you're a sociopath, you don't look at it that way. Just saying.
Slap you with my e-penis.
Alright? And it sucks that I can't share those experiences with you. Alright? I can't show those. Because, sadly, people will use that personal information to hurt her. I know they will. I'm not stupid. In fact, folks, the whole thing here is there's two reasons why these people are doing this nasty stuff to me right now. Absolutely, the first reason is because, for example, they know I'm doing a fundraiser tomorrow. They don't want me to be able to raise any money. They want me to be a big failure.
Listen to that. I mean, listen to that. Oh, they're attacking me over the situation because I got a fundraiser tomorrow and they don't want me to make any money. Everything he comes out of his mouth is it has to be financially based with him. Always. Here, let's bring that back. Just so I'm not a complete asshole.
Alright, I can't show those. Because, sadly, people will use that personal information to hurt her. I know they will. I'm not stupid. In fact, folks, you know, the whole thing here is there's two reasons why these people are doing this nasty stuff to me right now. Absolutely, the first reason is because, for example, they know I'm doing a fundraiser tomorrow. They don't want me to be able to raise any money. They want me to be a big failure, and no one pledges to me because they think that it's going towards an escort. Alright? Even though it's not. It's a lie. It's going towards taxes. But number two, they really want information about my girlfriend because they're nosy as fuck. These people are mentally challenged. They really have an obsession in their head.
I'm not a whiny baby.
And they need to know everything about my life. And the fact that I've had things hidden from you guys for the purposes of safety for months and months, they can't fucking stand it.
Really? What have you hidden from us? Just saying. You said that you had this thing wrapped up with this girl for like 2 or 3 months. Let's say 2 months. Then you reveal her. Then you put pictures out on her. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, you might as well just given us her last 4 digits. You might as well just gone ahead and gone there with that. Why did any of that even need to be brought up? The girlfriend situation, that should have never been said. Taking pictures of her and putting that up should have never been done. Ever. If you were really trying to protect her, if she really meant something to you, if you were really trying to learn the mistakes from the last one, she should have never been known. I don't care what she says. Oh, I'm okay with it. Oh, I want to be recognized. No. That's what you should have told her. And that's what you should have done. It's not this whole situation where people are just going ahead and digging into your business. You put it all out there like breadcrumbs almost, and you expect us to follow the lines. And that's what people do. And then those people develop a story, and then people like me sit there and report on it. You make it sound like we pried into your life to find that picture. Someone hacked your hard drive to get that picture. That wasn't the case. You put it out there yourself. And you know you did that. And you know you did it for a particular reason. Stop playing the victim when you did it to yourself. I'm telling you, she's going to end up just like the last one. I guarantee it. And the sad part about it is, if the way I think it's going to play out does play out, not that I wish for that, it's going to be worse. It's going to be much worse than what happened to Panda. To be honest with you.
You know, I used to be a guy that was 100% transparent and I shared everything with you, and now that I got private stuff, oh my fucking god, that's it. They're going nuts, man.
By the way, I really desperately need the money to help with my tax situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, hint, hint, save the house.
They're going nuts. They're losing their shit. How dare he? How dare he have no information that he keeps from us? We need to find everything out. So what they're hoping for right now is that on this very moment, that I'm going to reveal private information about my girlfriend to prove that she exists, to discredit this whole escort situation, so that then they can...
Pay attention to this part right here, ladies and gentlemen. What you just heard, which is at the, let's say the 1 hour and 14 minute mark. Remember this part here.
Get after her. That's what they want. They want me to give you her name. They want me to give you information about, anything personal about her, so that they can grow right after. That's what they want. I'm not doing it, because I'm not a fucking fool.
I'm a brain-dead idiot, and I need the game to be as easy as fucking possible for me to play.
Yep.
I'm not. The bottom line here is, alright, that if you believe 100% slanderous speculation with zero factual evidence,
You're a moron. Alright, you are. You are a moron. I'm sorry, you are. Why am I toxic? More toxic.
you are gullible. You are foolish. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You really need help. Because there's so much shit that goes on planet Earth that's more important than any of this shit. Honestly, you know what I mean? And for the fact that people are obsessing about this shit, it's insane. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy for you. You are really in a bad way. And you need to seek help. If this is what your main focus of your...
Did you tell Panda that? Just out of curiosity. Because I don't like it. It's actually kind of sad, really. But it's amazing how you keep bringing up all these mental health issues and stuff like that. Where were you at when Panda needed that type of help? Did you tell her that stuff too when you guys got into arguments? Did you bring up the fact that she had panic attacks and whatnot in that whole situation, in that whole argument situation that caused you guys to break up? Did you sit there and tell her that she was mentally ill and all the stress and all the problems that she had was on her? Phil, tell me, who was cheating on who? Did she catch you emailing did she catch you emailing this girlfriend of yours? Or texting her? And she felt a certain type of way? Or did you find Tyrone's texts first?
Now let me cut in for a minute. This is a current GTG. The reason why this clip actually kind of falls into place a little bit is because a couple of broadcasts back, I had said that I had thrown out the theory that it's possible that Phil was talking to Kat before June. I think he was talking to her in like June or July. At least that's what he says. But I feel like they were on speaking terms before that. Now, I don't know exactly when, because I think Panda left in April. So I would have to say somewhere between, April of 2017, by the way. I want to tell you that at the earliest of March or April, there was at least some type of contact between Kat and Phil. Before it, granted, it could have been friendly, it could have been casual, not even relationship, nothing like that yet. But they were at least talking to each other around this time. Which, not to say that it coincides with anything, but if Panda end up catching wind of it and then goes off, finds Tyrone, and then there's some back and forth, there's some arguing, you're starting to see more and more distance between the two of them. Then obviously when Phil ousted Panda by talking about her personal problems and whatnot, you kind of see like the timeline I'm trying to build, even though it's kind of scatterbrained. But I was thinking about something similar to that back in January. Back in January of this year, I was thinking that, and I completely forgot about it. So that's kind of funny. But maybe you'll see my thought process. All right, back into past GTG.
Because anything's possible.
Life is, you really have problems, okay? Now here's the thing. Here's the thing on top of all of this, folks, which is hilarious to me anyway. As I said, the whole thing's false. This morning I've been talking with my girlfriend. Now, I didn't mention any of this stupid shit to her, because actually this happened after I stopped talking to her. I was talking to her all up to the point where I was setting up my stream.
And why are we hearing this?
Okay. And, she's out and about doing stuff today. She's got a day off from work, and I'm talking to her about all the stuff she's doing and everything. And I'm like, we're making plans that if I can get past this tax hump in January, that she can maybe move in with me in 2018. And I'm thinking to myself now, as all this is going on, man, people are going to feel incredibly fucking stupid pretty soon. Because if I can get past this tax issue, and, let's say, in the first half of the year, she does move in with me, alright? She's obviously going to start showing up in videos. In fact,
Ladies and gentlemen, what did I just say? I said at the 114 mark, pay attention to what this guy was getting ready to say. That was 3 minutes ago. I was almost 4 minutes ago. And now look at him. Now, people are going to feel a certain type of way, because now she's going to be showing up in my videos. What happened to the whole protection thing? What happened about the whole thing about keeping her safe and out of the limelight to, so these people don't do anything to her? What happened to the fact of you not being stupid? Oh, that's all out the window, huh? In less than 5 minutes, no less. Good job, Phil.
there's a couple playthroughs coming up that maybe we could do collab.
Now let me jump back in. That leads into this whole situation with Christmas. And it we'll eventually get there. Phil, how is it that she told you that she does not want to be on stream? That she just doesn't want to deal with all the negative behavior and all the toxicity and all that bullshit, and she doesn't want any part of that yet. Whoa. Hold up, Kat. Okay, let's not do anything crazy. Okay? I need you. I need you to be on stream. You can't just abandon me like that. But yet you said while you were blaming Tevin, you said that you knew that things could end up going bad on that stream, and yet you put her in harm's way anyway. That was always the motivation. And if I had to go ahead and throw something out now, it's not a theory or anything like that, but you knew Kat was going to get shitted on during that Halloween stream. You knew it, but it was going to bring you attention. And you kept at it for a couple days because it worked toward your narrative. Now, why you abandoned it, I'm going to wait until we get later on into the video. But something or somebody said something to you that was like, hey, cut that shit out. We don't care what the motives are. We don't care about any of that. You're on our platform right now, and that don't look good. Shut that shit up. That's just one theory, of course. We'll elaborate more on that later. DSP News.
Obviously, when I do DSP Tries It, she's going to end up being a part of DSP Tries It. Okay? You know what I mean? Like, she's going to be part of it. Now, am I going to give out all her personal information? No. But you're going to see her in my videos. You're going to know she exists. You're going to know she's real.
So you're telling me that we're going to see her in your videos. We're going to know that she exists. You're telling me that people will not be able to take a screenshot of this girl and not go ahead and do a little bit of digging, which probably won't take long, and they're not going to find out who she is. They're not going to find out who her first and last name is, and then everything else attached to it. Are you a fucking moron? I don't get it. It's almost as if when she gets to his home, she'll be safe. Did you forget, Phil, that we all know where you live? Fucking A, I know where you live, and I didn't even ask. I didn't even look. And I know your address. It's... Oh my god, Phil. Phil, there are fucking pictures of your house as well as your front lawn and your car out there. Are you fucking serious, dude? Oh, man.
It's just a matter of time.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Alright, let me jump back in. So, yet again, you really thought, or he really thought, back back during this time, as soon as she gets to the house, everything's gonna be cool. We're gonna be buttered. The tractors can't do nothing to us. It's you and me against the world, Cat. Our love is gonna be enough to conquer all hate. And what did you do, Phil? You got her in there. She was all smiles and everything. You know what I'm saying? We all remember that smile. You know, and all of that. Had a little bit of that breast meat out. All of that. And then what happened, Phil? That all hit Instagram. Within 20 minutes, Kiwi Farms had it all. Had all of it. That supposed no social media presence at all, right, Phil? Twitter was found. Instagram was found. YouTube was found. I think she had a Twitch. Twitch was found. Some other random site that she was on that she had pictures posted was there. All kinds of goodies came out. Which eventually ended up leading into more stuff with her personal life, being the ex-boyfriend. All of that because you couldn't keep her to yourself. You couldn't just let her be that dirty little secret that you have over on everybody and be okay with it. You had to make her known, as to my theory, that as the year goes on, you throw her out there sparingly. Because you were getting a lot of negative feedback from the fan base being like, yo, we're happy for you, Phil, so on and so forth, but please don't put her out there. Please don't put her in a bad situation. While you kept trying to drive the initiative that, hey, we can do a monthly DSP Tries It. All you guys got to do is make this goal. Come on, guys. Come on, we can do it. And they were willing. Some people threw money at it, but the other people didn't. So they kind of gave you free money, and they were like, yo, Phil, we're not interested, man. Sorry, we didn't meet the goal, but no one wanted the goal. You're just going to feed the detractors. Feed me more, Seymour. That's all you were going to end up doing, and your fan base knew it. Yet you pushed the narrative anyway, and it didn't work. Now, you're seeing the culmination of all that. At least the negative aspect of it. Shit rolls downhill, Phil. No pun intended. And yet you still haven't learned. You made all these bullshit promises 9-10 months ago, and look at where we're at right now. We didn't really go that far. Except for, I must have precedence or something, because I certainly saw what this was going to turn into. And here's the thing that makes that even more interesting. I wasn't the only one. I wasn't the only one. So for all that detractor content that you watch and listen to, as well as your minions, nobody picked up on any of that? Let's continue. DSP News.
Hilarious to me because you're going to be proven wrong. So all this stupidity that's happening is all going to be disproving. And I'm just like, how could you, in your right mind, act like this and not realize how dumb you're going to look so shortly? You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know. So anyway, let's put it this way, folks. This whole thing is stupid. I actually feel bad because now apparently I've got someone who used to be, someone I trusted, who is a mod, who apparently now is out there spewing crap about Phil. Phil told me in a private message that his girlfriend made him brownies, and that's evidence that, that obviously it was the escort that made him brownies because the escort had posted 2 days earlier that she had made him Dutch recipe brownies. And now Phil said that they just made Ghirardelli brownies. But maybe that's a spin on it. Maybe she added something to the Ghirardelli brownies to make them her own personal brownies. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Oh my fucking lord. I just don't get it anymore. I have a girlfriend. I've been dating her since the summer. I want her to move in with me in 2018. We love each other. But I've been protecting her from the internet because I know what would happen if her
And you're protecting her from the internet only for have her move in and then expose her to the internet. Okay. That's DSP logic for you. I get it. You're absolutely right, Phil. I was wrong. What you say makes total sense. It's absolutely you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You don't want anything to happen to her that could possibly change her mind or have anybody possibly able to get a hold of her and talk her out of it before she gets to the pig pen. You're right. I get it, Phil. You gotta wait until the fence door closes on that pig pen to where she's trapped. Dave Chappelle, I got you, bitch. I got you. You're right. You're absolutely right, Phil. I see it now. I do. I see it now. I was naive. I was naive to the whole circumstances. You have to keep her protected from herself until you get her into a position where she has nowhere else to go. Gotcha. That's why you need her to uproot herself from wherever she's at, get a job over there to where she's completely dependent on you in a place that she's only been a couple times and may or may not have any friends there. No. That wouldn't work for you, Phil. Does she have any friends there? How did you convince her to come all the way out there anyway? You asked her to come to a state that she's never been before? She has no friends or relatives there? At all? How did you convince her to do that? I guess we'll have to let that jog. We'll have to let that sit in the noggin for a little bit. We'll come back to that.
Personal information got out on the internet in particular, especially if before she were to live here with me, what would happen if her information got out on the internet would be really bad. We saw what happened previously with my previous relationships, and I'm very much wiser to the whole situation now, alright? There's a group of people who hate my guts and want to hurt me in every possible way, alright? They've completely fabricated a story based off of zero facts, but only off of things that I publicly shared about myself and my girlfriend and the time that I spent with her. They spun it into complete nonsense, alright? And made up a completely fabricated story about an escort visiting me, and that I don't have any tax situation, but instead, I'm raising funds to pay for an escort. It's 100% false.
I did something wrong and I'm a horrible person.
It's based off of 0%. Unlike other things that people have said negatively about me in the past, it's based off of no factual evidence
Now
whatsoever.
to cut in again. So it's funny how you're hearing what he's saying about the whole escort situation. How it's completely false, yada yada yada. But where was that type of anger that he has for Tevin, or that he did have for Tevin, I should say? Where was that here? That right there, I don't know, most people would just take that and laugh at it. But Phil should have lost his top on this shit. But he didn't. He was just kind of like, it's stupid, there's no evidence, and then he just kind of shrugged it off. Whereas you're saying that Tevin is ruining your relationship and your career, air quotes, in real time, and you're blowing your fuse. Damn near going to give yourself a heart attack. Gout spreads, Phil, just in case you don't know. And yet, where was that anger and frustration, at least some of that lively behavior back then? during this situation? What makes this whole Halloween video game marathon so special compared to you being accused of actively engaging in prostitution? Well, a step up above prostitution, getting an escort. How, you know what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, he was really nonchalant during this period. And most of you will say, oh, well, come on, GTG, because he knew he was telling the truth. Okay, so obviously he's lying over here then, yeah? And don't be wrong, what you're saying is fair logic. He knew that the escort saga wasn't true, so he's calm, cool, and collected about it. He doesn't see a need to approach it, or approach it with any type of real attitude. But then he's spurging out over here. I don't know. I don't know. It makes one wonder how truthful he's being over here. Now, obviously, we all know he's lying, but I'm just trying to put a name to a face. That's all. Dspnews. God damn, I forgot about all these brownie pictures that we looked up. Jesus Christ. I wonder if I'll see that peanut butter brownie that I picked.
There's nothing that they even spun. They literally just made it up out of thin air to make me look bad, and so that things like, for example, my fundraiser tomorrow would be unsuccessful. Alright? I feel sad for anyone who believes the stupidity of the stuff that people say with no factual evidence. I really do. And I feel bad, in particular, for this longtime fan of mine, moderator of mine, who sadly fell into the black hole of nonsense. I really do. I feel bad because that's terrible to live like that. It is. Just believe shit, and because and there's the other thing too. So apparently I did mention these brownies or whatever, on a stream. So again, it was public knowledge just to those who were here all the time, who listened to my pre-streams or whatever. So again, they took something that I said publicly that I revealed and turned it into something that was supposed to be exclusive info, and then trying to basically fool me with a PM about a recipe, right? It's nuts. And, I'm not going to play these fucking games anymore. It's so stupid. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because the whole stream chat this morning, before I even got to start talking about games or whatever, was talking about stupidity like this. It's just...
So, you decided to make almost a 40-minute long pre-stream just because, let's say, the majority of your stream chat was going on about it? So, all you're going to do is feed into their own paranoia. You're feeding into their own intrigue. And you're not smart enough to realize that? Okay.
It's so dumb. Alright? It's out of control. So that being said, I'm done with it. I'm not going to address it anymore. Alright? It's stupid. It's complete stupidity. It's not grounds in any factual basis. There's no evidence of anything, because there can't be evidence of anything, because it's not true. That would be the thing. If I actually, if any of this were true, I'd obviously be running around desperately trying to cover information up. There's nothing to cover up. The whole thing's fake. There's no work for me. I didn't even know about this until this morning when my stream chat was overflowing with fucking idiots. You know what I mean? I didn't know that any of this had happened because I'm not paying attention to it because it's all fake. It's all bullshit. It's so dumb.
That's the deal. That's what's going on. The latest drama nonsense. It is garbage. Ignore it. If you're intelligent, you'll ignore it. Dumb people are so dumb. You gotta just fucking tell what's what.
And stay with us here in reality on the fun gameplay streams, and have fun with me every day. And, if you're gullible and you want to go get sucked into the black hole of the anal sphincter of nonsense of the internet, go right ahead. I can't stop you. If this is really how you want to live your life in the world of drama and speculation and rumor and nonsense that's based on no fact, go right ahead. I mean, I don't want you to. I'd rather have you have a happy, healthy life and be on streams with me and have fun. But I certainly can't stop you from doing stupid shit either. You know what I mean? I'm just a streamer on the internet. I just play games for a living. I have fun, and that's all it is.
This is how I play the game!
I'm just a streamer on the internet, and I just play video games for a living. Only if it was that easy. Only if he really focused on that and not worried about, and didn't worry so much about about what other people say about him. But he falls into it like most YouTubers who latch on everything that they have to this. You know what I'm saying? This is the only thing that he succeeded at in life, and it's all he has. Because when you start getting into that mindset, right, that this validates you, right, what that does is then what happens is you do everything to protect it. Let me give you an analogy. It's going to be a terrible one, but I'm going to give you one. It's like the climb to power, like in the mafia. Like it's a bloody rise, right, to get to the top. And then it's even bloodier to stay there. And you got to sacrifice people. Sadly, you'll end up probably sacrificing people on the way up, and you'll definitely throw people under the bus on the way down. Phil encompasses all that. That's exactly what Phil did. He sacrificed friends, family, even some lovers, lover, on the way up. And then on the way down, kicking and screaming, he's given up fans, supporters, people who bled for him, people who put in wet work for him, well, internet wet work, and all that's gone. All of that's gone. And now that it's Monday, and he's who knows what he's doing? He's probably sitting around watching Tevin. He's probably sitting around watching Tevin's videos and shit, trying to figure out a way to get at him, while secretly in his head he's trying to pick up on maybe something that, oh well, maybe Tevin's doing something that I can pick up on. Maybe I can try to incorporate into that too. And there you go. Here, Phil, let me give you a nice little piece of advice when it comes to some of the people that follow Tevin, right? Tevin has always had, at least from what I've seen, has always had a pretty loyal fan base. A lot of the people who end up coming over to Tevin's chats, though, or to his streams or whatnot, funny enough, some of them are people that you've banned. People who are looking for refuge somewhere else. I don't want to necessarily call them refugees, but certainly people who need another place to go, another place to where they could vent and lash out at, against a common enemy. And Tevin would be one of those, would be a good choice. So would Theo. Theo would be another really good choice. That's what it was. And see, you kind of fucked yourself too, Phil, because when Tevin and those other two gentlemen end up getting kicked off of Twitch, you end up screwing the pooch on that big time. Speaking of which, someone asked, who are the two guys? I say two other gentlemen because I'm always afraid I'm going to screw their names up. Bill Burnell and They Call Me Tex are the other two guys that by hook or by crook ended up getting screwed by Phil here. When you ended up removing them, right? What did you think happened to their fan base, to their followers, essentially? They went ahead and went to the next best choice, being that the guys that they watched on the regular, they can't watch. And I don't know what their streaming schedules are. So the next best bet is to go to Tevin. So you yourself helped build Tevin up. Tevin at current is over 12,000, which means he's closing in on SOK numbers. So, and it's my understanding that you hold a big piece of that too. You're invested in that, if you will. You've done a very good job building Tevin up. And I'm wondering if that's part of your grand scheme. I'm wondering if you're trying to put all this attention on Tevin, knowing that attention is going to come back on you. Which in turn, you hope that it'll drum up sympathy and bring more people in. What you don't seem to understand, though, is Tevin is everything that you could never be. And so why go to you when they have Tevin? Praise be Almighty. Glow gang. Gang gang. Why would they need you? You're merely there to be laughed at. Tevin's the entertainment. You're just there. Just to get a laugh, just to get a chuckle. And then if other people decide to go over there and troll you, that's on them. But Tevin has never told them to do that. Or at least not to any real extent. So if this was all for attention, which is what my guess is, you overplayed your cards. By a whole lot. And here's the thing that you don't realize, Phil. I do. I'm sure Tevin does. I'm sure Theo does. I'm sure a lot of people who are savvy, which is pretty much all of us, that aren't everybody who's not you and people in your fan base, sadly, know, is you're all in. And you don't even realize it. You're on your last chip, buddy. This is the last hand. And I'm about to check. And so is everybody else around this table. And Tevin's the one that's sitting closest to you. By your design. So the moment he checks, you're screwed. Because I know you're not holding shit. I know it. You're holding two pair. And they're not good. So what are you going to do then? What are you going to do then that this supposed adversary of yours, who screwed you up in the past and is screwing you now, you're slowly but surely making him even bigger than he already is, or you're starting to make him bigger, adding to what he already has. You're helping him consolidate even more. Not that he needed your help, but you're helping him do it. And eventually he's going to get so big that you can't do anything really about it. You're going to have to just kind of sit there and take it. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do then? And because of all the shit that you say about YouTube, which is sent to YouTube on, I would assume, on a semi-regular basis, why would they come to your defense? Oh, because you got that blue check mark next to your fucking channel? So what? You barely make them any money. You're not a priority. So all you have is Twitch. And what do you think? Someone from Twitch is going to go over there and go to bat at Google for Dark Side Phil? Nah. Sorry, Governor. That's not what's going to happen at all. You weren't paying attention to how the tides were going against you. So now, the biggest shark in the ocean is already circling you. Blood's already drawn. And we're merely just waiting to see how he decides to strike you. It's not a matter if Tevin decides to strike you. It's when. And when I say strike him, I don't mean like what Phil means about striking. Like going off and doing fucking gay ops and shit. What I mean is, when is that next stream that Tevin decides to find that really, really juicy series of videos that even Phil doesn't remember? That's completely embarrassing. And we get 4 or 5 hours of greatness out of that. That completely shuts Phil down. To where he can't cover up any of that. He can't account for any of that. And then Phil goes into his lying spiel. And then people in his fan base send it to him and be like, yo, Phil, man, you told me this didn't happen, but here it is. That's happened to you before, Phil. Even I've heard insiders talk about that. And then what are you going to keep telling them? You're going to keep spinning the same Charlotte's Web? Oh, it's all taken out of context. Oh, I didn't mean it that way. Oh, they just edited it all together all crazy, and that's the reason why it sounds that way. That's not what the case is. You're not very good at editing yourself, so how would you know that? Shouts out to James Lesser on that one. So, what are you going to do then? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into our main event, our final course of the meal. The dessert, something sweet. Yes, I know, you guys saw brownies all day and whatever. I'm all about my sweet tooth sometimes. Snort Burnell, DsPgaming, convincing her to come back for the holidays. Last Christmas, Phil, you gave her your heart. And then the very next day, someone just took it away. But this year, to save yourself from tears, you have no one to give it to. There is no one special to pass it on to, buddy. It sucks for you. It sucks for you. I'm going to laugh, too. I'm going to laugh. But for right now, let's just go ahead and get into this. DSP News.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. I like how you're laughing too.
Well, it's funny.
We're soulmates. Mopachi21 is a troll who did a 50-bit cheer and basically calling me a liar about the Halloween event because he's a dick. But what could you expect? Thanks for the money. I don't know why people cheer, sub, or tip just to try to insult me. By the way, the guy is completely wrong anyway. I'll entertain it. I might as well. I'll entertain it just to read it. Stop being a drama queen. The Phil drama show every day. He says, you said that maybe Kat wouldn't be here for the full Halloween stream, but then the script flips and you use it to your advantage. You're a liar. Okay.
Yes, Kat is off now. Like I told you guys, well, I said this last night, but I don't know how many of you guys were here, obviously, for last night's stream. Kat was not going to be here all day anyway. This is her only day off this week, outside of our next day off together, which is Monday. And she's got stuff she wants to do, you know? She's got stuff she got to take care of, and so I want to say thanks obviously to her for being here for the first couple, or a few hours, of the stream. You know, nice of her to join us and dress up and everything. But she's off. She may be here later tonight to say goodnight, like at the end of the stream, but yeah, she's off to do other stuff now, okay?
Phil said one thing 10, 15 years ago. Phil says something today. They're not exactly the same. He's you know, hypocritical.
You heard it right there, ladies and gentlemen. Off to do other things compared to what ended up coming later, that, oh, she was so dejected and she was just, you know, so crushed that she just had to leave the house. She just drove off. I don't even know where she went. She just left. So it's a big difference. It's a big difference in for after 48-hour ops. I got to tell you.
I'm hypocritical. Very, very, very hypocritical. Wrong. What I said was, Kat does not like games that make her squeamish. For example, slasher movies. Bloody slasher movies. She does not like it all. She likes psychological horror. So, you know, Silent Hill to some extent, that would be cool and scary to her. But she doesn't enjoy games that have excessive gore. Like, for example, she's not a fan.
But that wasn't good for you, Phil, because you actually complained about Silent Hill about, there's no action, dudes. There's nothing going on, man. Where's the scary aspects of it, man? I don't understand. So, obviously, you weren't playing the game for her. Or maybe initially you decided to start playing it for her, but then, obviously, your needs outweighed hers. Because it always outweighs the audience. The people in the chat. The people on stream. I got you. No problem. I got you. Dspnews.
Movies. She's not a fan of the Hostel movies. She doesn't like that kind of stuff. So purposely, we had talked about this previously, and she had said, you know, if you're gonna play a game like Saw 2, I probably don't want to be around because that might creep me out. You know, might make her feel gross or whatever. And I said, that's perfectly fine. You know, if that's not your thing, you don't have to be here for every single game that I play. Plus, you know, that day was her day off from work, obviously, for her to be here all day. And she said she'll come in and out, you know, during certain games that she likes or doesn't like. But, you know, that's not what ended up happening. Okay? She ended after 2 games, that was it. And I'm not going to get into it again. People who were here saw what happened, so we're not going to get into it again and again and again. This is a situation where, once again, I've done absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever, and I'm getting punished like I did, you know? Well, I did nothing wrong. Cheered. Because I've done nothing wrong, you know? I make mistakes. I'm a fallible human. But most of the things that happen to me, I didn't do anything wrong. What did I do wrong? Nothing. Zero. For something I didn't do wrong. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct. It's Tevin's fault. You know. But, yeah. So, that's what really happened. Okay? You know, the plan was that, you know, people were supposed to be, well, Kat was going to be popping in and out during the course of the stream, and she ended up basically only sticking around.
Phil, pick a story and stick to it, man. For the love of God, pick a story and stick to it. Stop flip-flopping. Stop jumping around trying to grasp for straws. Pick something and stick to it. If it's Tevin's fault, then it's his fault and his fault solely. If she didn't want to play gory games or whatnot, or games that are extremely graphic, then fair enough. She doesn't want to play games that are extremely graphic. If it was that she had previous plans and she just fell through with that, she had her obligation to you as your roommate. She fulfilled her obligation to you and then went off to do fun stuff. Then she went off to do fun stuff. But please, for the love of God, Choose fucking something. Seriously. Even your fan base is getting tired of hearing it. Dspnews.
Games because people being nasty, you know. So sorry for fucking what?
Sticky Burrow says Phil knows the exact time someone shows up. Now, I remember because Android in particular had said that he was looking forward to attend with his girlfriend. He wanted to see me and Kat doing stuff together. And when he showed up, I saw his name in the stream chat, and he was like, "Oh man, you know, where's Kat?" So I remember exactly when he showed up. It was really near the end of the stream. See, and it's hilarious because people say to me all the time,
"Oh, Phil doesn't pay attention to the stream chat. Phil doesn't pay attention to people unless they're cheer, sub, or tip." Bullshit. I'm always paying attention. Fuck you. You're a liar. Cheer me on. It's a great way to get a question answered quickly. Alright? It's a cool thing. It's a cool interactive thing. Every moment I'm playing the game, I can't keep looking back at your cheers. You know what I mean? You cheer with a bigger amount and make them bigger so that way they're more significant, you know?
Whoa, Die James just did a 700-bit cheer. He says, "Sorry I couldn't be here earlier. My girlfriend escapes you later." I don't know what the hell that means.
Just because I'm not addressing something doesn't mean that I'm not paying attention. Usually it's because I realize it would derail the whole stream or cause controversy or drama. That's the reason why I would ignore something that's going on.
Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
10 years making gameplay videos on YouTube. In mid-2016, I accidentally streamed myself masturbating. You don't fuck with me, I know how to play this game.
I've done this. I've made content for over 10 years, and I've now been live streaming since 2015. I've been an interactive streamer since early 2017. Like, I kind of get what I'm doing now. I think I've gotten into the groove enough. Well, you know, I'm honestly, Kat at this point wants nothing to do with the streams. I don't blame her. But I'm going to try to convince her to come back for, like, Christmas, for something at Christmas. I don't know when or what, but I am going to try to convince her to come back, at least if she, you know, pop her head in and say something near the end of the year would be nice, right? But at this point...
So we already have the lead up. We've kind of had the pitch. Didn't hit the grand slam he wanted. Only got like a base hit, and he's more than likely going to get out. Here's the problem. If this was a scheme on his part, as I said earlier, he did this to drum up attention. He's planned it poorly. Ladies and gentlemen, using Halloween as a way to cause a situation to drum up sympathy for Christmas is dumb. Here's why. One, the amount of time between Halloween and Christmas, his fan base is pretty absent-minded. So unless for the next, 30 plus days, because you're going to need at least what I think they say it's what you need 27, 28 days to establish a habit. So unless for the next 30 days or so, he's going to constantly drill in and sneak diss Tevin for 30 whole fucking days, it's going to all fall apart. Nobody in his fan base is going to remember. In turn, when we get to Christmas, he's going to be in full beg mode. Do you really think Kat wants to be on stream with you, Phil? Listening to you beg for money for, help him pay for his taxes, pay for the house, this, that, and the third? Actually, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think you've done any of that while she's been on stream. Another thing that I've also noticed, and I've pointed out not only on YouTube but on Twitter, is it's funny how you don't snort, you don't belch, you don't do any of those disgusting little habits that you have in front of her. Which leads me to believe that the snorting and everything that you do, Phil, that whole nasal drip, is really just a coping mechanism. Now, for most of you guys who have been here, you've already heard me say this. But it continues to drive that stuff home because that whole time, that whole 3 hour plus that Kat was on there, we didn't hear any of that. When was the last time that you saw Phil sit down for 3.5 hours or 3 hours plus and not hear not a single snort out of him? The belching and the grunting and all that bullshit, we can let him slide on that. But the nasal drip, the one that is completely uncurable, when's the last time you saw him go 3 hours and not do that? Now, let's go back to the actual begging aspect. I need you guys to open your minds to me for a minute. Think about all the times we've seen Kat on stream. Have you ever heard him mention anything about money or in the capacity that I need money, please donate, or please help me out, or please be supportive? You haven't seen any of that. It's just money kind of just drummed in, which leads me to believe that he has her thinking that, yeah, I got this really supportive fan base and they just throw money at me and everything's all good. And so you know that financially I can take care of you. So with that type of insurance, she would look at, I could see her looking at Phil as someone viable, but she doesn't actually see what goes on behind the curtain, or at least allegedly she doesn't, because she told us that, oh, I don't really watch Phil streams. I don't do that. I've watched his content before, but I don't watch his streams. So she may not catch all the stuff that's going on. And given how late, air quotes, that she's working at night, plus that time at the gym with Jim, she's not going to have time to sit there and watch all that. And I doubt she's going to listen to it while being at the gym. So all of that is kind of just out of sight, out of mind. So Phil is kind of doing all this stuff behind the scenes, to just try to keep the facade going, that everything's all right. Which means he's going to have to literally ingrain it into people's minds all of November, or all of this month, leading into Thanksgiving, and then leading up to probably the week of Christmas, that, guys, I really need this money, I really need the support, because the day or two leading up to that, if he is able to convince her to get back on stream, he's not going to mention any of it because he doesn't want her to know that. That's the first thing. But with that being said, getting her on stream is important, because as he lays all this out on all the problems he's going to have with his taxes and how YouTube's doing terrible and all these things that I need you guys to take in, so you guys can help me, so I can continue to do this, live with my girl Cat, soulmate Cat, for the next year or so. I need you guys to really come through. But he can't say that in front of her. But he does need her there. He needs her there, so people kind of like, oh, well, that's what Phil is fighting for. Oh, or that's what we're donating to. We're donating so Phil can have just a little bit of peace in his life, despite all the haters and all the setbacks by YouTube and this, that, and the third. She's merely window dressing. Merely window dressing. Now, here's the third part. You're going to bring her back into this situation, Phil. Even though she's already told you that she's not interested in doing this anymore. You're going to bring her back into this situation because you believe it's the holidays and you believe they'll be safe. You believe that there'll be enough people that are in your chat that might discourage a troll or a group of trolls or haters or detractors to not say anything too wild. Nothing that can't be just easily dismissed. The problem is, though, is you've already trained, no pun intended, but, well, kind of. You've already trained Kat to look for negativity, to seek it out. So now every time she shows up on screen, on the stream, she's just going to look at that chat, because that's where all of her focus is. That's all she cares about, unless you can do something to occupy her time. And even if you put a controller in her hands, right? Which we'll find out if she's a real gamer, air quotes, or not when that time comes about. I would assume she's still going to take glimpses of that chat. It's funny, Phil, that you yourself attach your whole self-worth to this online situation that you have. This online persona. This online business, in air quotes. And now you've taken someone who has some issues, who is vulnerable. Now you've put her in a negative situation where she's almost as dependent as you are. Where her frailties and her vulnerabilities are out there in real time, and people can take advantage of it at a whim. And she is more than willing to see it happen. She's not discouraged to turn away. She has to see it. She has to know. Whereas a stronger individual would be like, I can ignore it. She can't. And you know that. Because you brought her into this. You made her that way, theoretically. So what the hell are you going to do now? How positive is that Christmas stream going to really be? And as you said during this Halloween stream, even if the mods are on there, lickety split, to make it all go away, if they're doing it through cheers or whatnot, it's still going to pop up. So she's still going to see it. So that Christmas smile isn't going to last very long, is it? Just my theory, though. DSP News.
I really don't blame her. She has, as I told you guys, she has nothing really to do with my content. She has no desire to do co-op gameplay or anything with me.
Bill tells me I don't go to his stream, so I don't know, like, you know, what people say.
And the few times she pops her head in, she gets fucking abused by these scumbags, and she has, you know, no reason. She did nothing to deserve any of it, so I don't blame her for wanting to stay away, being honest. Yeah, I totally get it. A secret stream, says Rattybag. No, like, if she were to show up, I probably wouldn't even announce it, you know? If she were to randomly show up one day, I would just let her just drop in if she ever wanted to and say, listen, now the fucking, the dickheads who would harass you didn't know you were coming, so this is a surprise thing. They won't be able to fucking mobilize fast enough.
Wow.
If there's a will, there's a way. Now, here's the thing. Here's the lore. And here's that's him casting the line, if you will. What the plan is now is keep everything super secret. You know what I'm saying? Keep everything super sneaky, right? In the hopes and building the anticipation that people will check in on his chats regularly. And getting closer and closer to the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, he now puts it out there that, we're just going to have her, she's just going to come in randomly, you know, and no one's ever going to really know. So now you build that anticipation up in certain people thinking, well, okay, well, the week of Thanksgiving, man, we'll pop up in there and see what's up. You know what I'm saying? Because she's bound to show up then, because that's where Phil's going to really need the money. Christmas is the same thing. It's almost a given that you're going to try to get her there on Christmas. You're going to beg and plead for her to get there. So Phil thinks he's being slick by trying to build anticipation. He's gonna culminate it into a really good reason to get a bunch of people over there. And like I said earlier, even if the haters, trolls, and detractors show up, they might find it a little uncomfortable to say anything super blatant because it is the holidays. At least that's what he's hoping for. It's not going to happen like that, but that's what he's hoping for. Is this what we've come down to, Phil? Where you're trying to manipulate not only your fan base, but the detractors and everybody else. And sadly, the true victim possibly in all this, Cat, just so you can make some extra money. Is this really is it worth it? Is it worth it for you to do this? And let's go ahead and think in the long term, Phil, which is something I've tried to get you to do. How's girlfriend number 3 going to handle this moving forward? I'd like to think that she'd be a little smarter than the next one. I would hope that she's a little bit more aggressive. If Kat misses streaming and making YouTube videos, there's no reason why she shouldn't do it. But you've kind of broken her down in such a way, and you've established the type of fear to make her not to. I would say a better woman could see through that, but I don't want to put her down like that. I don't want to do it. But what are you going to do about girlfriend number 3, Phil, when that time comes? Because it's very obvious and super fucking dishonest what you're doing now. So what do we do when lucky number 3 pops up? DSP News.
Oh my god, excuse me.
Third the third shoot, he says, she did express she wanted to stream herself, right? She should go for it and just get tough getting like you did. If she shows up now and then on your streams, the sting of the trolls will be too painful because of the low frequency of exposure to an audience, you know what I mean? No, she has no desire to stream anymore. I'm serious about that. Like,
The slavery, it really is. It's like you're a slave.
a little bit of time that she did do it, alright, was a different time in her life. We hadn't ever met or talked or anything. And at this point, you know, being here with me, as much as she said the only thing she would ever want to stream is Overwatch, but as soon as she started seeing the negativity being thrown her way, the few times she was on my stream, she says, I just don't want to do it anymore. She's lost all desire to fucking do it, because when she saw the shit that was thrown, she just can't put up with it, you know? She's got her own stuff, and that's the thing you guys don't realize. She's got a life here with me, and she's got her own things going on outside with jobs and other stuff. She's got her own thing going on. It's not just about Phil 24/7, you know what I mean? So she's got her own thing. She's got enough stress, she's got enough shit in her own life. She doesn't need to have this negative shit also in her life, you know what I mean? Like, she's got enough to handle to not have to deal with extra shit. So as much as, you know, it would have been nice maybe if she was someone with no notoriety and streaming for like 20 people on Twitch.
There's a difference then. Oh, that's Phil's boyfriend. Oh my god. That's great. Oh my god. There's a difference then. Oh, that's Phil's boyfriend.
Safe zone evac orders are in effect.
Oh, I can't concentrate. Oh my god. There's a difference then. Oh, that's Phil's boyfriend.
There's a difference than, oh, that's Phil's boyfriend. Let's go harass, or that's Phil's boyfriend. That's Phil's girlfriend. Let's go harass the shit out of her. You know?
And then head over there and harass her when she's on stream.
Okay, so it is actually quite funny now that I'm actually getting a chance to see it again. I don't know. I kind of want to be like, well, is it true? This is just an arrangement, and you know Phil about, you know, Kat's real interest and whatnot? Because yet again, there's not enough there. Even after, you know, we're coming up on a year. A year is going to be in, like, at least them living together. It'll be in February. They just don't act like a couple. It's not there. You don't see. I don't see the emotional, nor do I see the physical attraction. First off, I don't see that. I don't see either. I don't see any of that at all from either side, and I definitely don't see any emotion. She seems like a void, and we already know what Phil's motivations are. So there's nothing really there. And so, and ladies, I put this question out to you: if you're with someone and there's no physical or emotional attachment or attraction, I would assume, as any man would, you would go out and search for something else. But if you're in an arrangement, right? In an arrangement where Phil's probably like, okay, well, you can do what you got to do. Just don't bring him home. You know, as long as it's not in his face, then, you know, maybe Phil will go ahead and try to, and give it a blind eye, if you will. But then that leads into something else that I had mentioned in one of my broadcasts, where Phil is definitely into her. There's something intriguing about her to Phil, and Phil wants. And whereas with Panda, he was obviously the dominant force, and she was way more submissive. Kat is just a void. When he sees Kat, I think he probably sees what I see, and he just doesn't see anything. There's nothing really staring back at you. And granted, she's not actually right in front of me, and I would assume that'd be a different story. But since she's not, since she hasn't been given that pleasure, I have to only go off what I see. I can only go off what I see. And there's nothing there. And Phil believes he can make this real. He believes that they can establish something. All of the perks and everything that they talked about before she actually moved into the house was all Phil ever wanted, like an MCN in a lot of ways. You know, oof. All right, here we go. Kat was the new MCN. She's going to provide him with the managed partnership, all the protection, taking down instead of taking down those other videos, going ahead and putting a third-party hit on him so he gets all the revenue that comes from it. She offered him everything, or he made it sound like she offered him everything. But when she got there, it ended up turning into Laveria, and it wasn't what it was meant to be. But now Phil has to make this work. Publicly, he has to make this look good. He can't afford to lose Kat. He really can't. If Kat walks out on him, he's fucked. Because how do you explain that now? You lost 2 relationships in this short amount of time. You can't sit there and keep throwing off, oh, it's not my fault, it's not my fault, it's not my fault. You have to take some responsibility at that point. And Phil can't do that. And then if Phil's on his own again, he can't go through broke Jedi mind tricks again. He just can't do it. Too much shit came out during that period when him and Panda had broken up. He can't afford to go through that again, in my personal opinion. Let's continue. DSP News.
It's a very different thing. So anyway, yeah, the truth of the matter is she really has no desire to stream anymore.
Alright, enough. I misspoke. Please, let's not make the entire stream tonight about me saying boyfriend. Because I fucking misspoke.
Do you know there's like a guy in our group right now who's like streaming this whole thing? He's sort of like semi-famous.
Oh, yeah, I think that's Darkseid Phil. He was the guy that got caught for masturbating in front of children. Yeah, Darkseid Phil. He was caught masturbating. I think he's like 35 years old.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was masturbating in front of children.
That's
on
right.
YouTube live stream. Hilarious. He's like he's a pervert or something. I think he's a
That's right, I'm a huge pervert, guys. That's all I do. I just masturbate constantly in front of children. You're absolutely right. That's what I'm known for.
You gotta explain exposed for doing that.
I got completely exposed. Absolutely.
Yeah, you did. You didn't even know the camera was on.
You know every inch of my dick and balls, right? You know every inch of my dick and balls.
It's the guy watching his Twitch.
Is that really him? Is he the one that got caught, Matt?
Yes!
Really? He was the guy that got caught masturbating in front of children. I think he's like 30. He's like in his 30s or something. He's in his 30s, and he did that in front of children.
That's right. Yes.
But I've seen so much. I'm a fan.
What?
I don't know what to say.
Of course, and I did it on purpose. That's why I'm still on Twitch and I'm still on YouTube and not banned, right?
Yeah, so you didn't get banned? You didn't get fired from any MCNs or anything, right?
No.
Let me cut in there for a minute. So, I didn't get banned from YouTube and I didn't get banned from Twitch, right? That's why I'm still here. Phil, what about in real life though? What about your real public image? Does none of that hold any weight? Was none of that taken into account? Oh, you're glad that you're on these 2 online platforms. Yet people spread that shit around every day. Every day, the clip of Phil wanking on stream, Flapgate, gets spread around. But he's okay because, at least online I'm alright. But what would happen, Phil? What would happen if that, Fred Meyers that you like to shop at? What would happen if someone dropped a customer service email over there with that attached to it? And in turn, the manager saw it. Now, the manager's probably going to be like, oh shit, this is fucking hilarious. And the manager would probably be disgusted at first until they actually saw it and be like, wow, that's just fucking hilarious. The assistant might be like, wow, that's really fucking hilarious. And then what happens, Phil? Next thing you know, all the baggers end up seeing it. Guys doing stock, dairy, meat department, cashiers. And then what happens that one day you pop up in there? Normal day, you're going in, you're getting your overpriced stuff, because Phil likes to live well, right? And one of the cashiers takes a glimpse at you and is like, just a second, sir. He's like, is that the guy? Is that the guy? I think that's the guy. Is that the guy? I think that's the guy. So now, that's going around. And once that happens, then people tend to spread that shit to their friends and to their family. I don't know about you, Phil, but that neighborhood that you live in isn't getting any bigger, but it certainly isn't getting any smaller. It would be a shame, Phil, that if the homeowners association, for example, I'm not exciting anything when I say any of this, the homeowners association ended up getting dropped that line and saw what would happen. They can't kick you out of your neighborhood for that, Phil, and I doubt you show up to a homeowners association meeting anyway, but it would be a shame that your neighbors ended up seeing shit like that. You ever think about that stuff, Phil? I'm sure you didn't. But you did take a whole lot of time to think about what you were going to do to Tevin and what you wanted people to do to him. So, look how quickly stuff can happen to you. Look at how quickly stuff could happen to Kat. God forbid that anybody spread that around her job. Especially videos with her in it. Oh, that'd be harsh. That would be sad. That'd be really, really sad. It'd be a shame if that happened, Phil. So every time I look at this clip, it makes me think that you thought you were so proud in this moment. Because you didn't lose anything. When in reality you lost everything. Because you can't live online forever, Phil. It's merely an escape. Your reality is where your failure lies. And people like myself are the gatekeepers. Welcome to Galtopia. Let's continue.
From the cinema? No?
No, I didn't.
No? Oh, you didn't get released? And what about Lavaria?
Oh my God.
They dropped you.
They
cut
didn't.
you when they found out that video. And I really feel bad for Leanna because she seriously has mentally problems. I feel bad for her. I feel bad for her because Leanna is innocent and you're the one.
Here we go. What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. Phil's a racist. Phil's a scammer. DSP's a pedophile. DSP is a thief. DSP is a greedy fuck.
This guy's a bitch.
I have a micro penis. Alright, I'm not dead, but I swear to God I wish I fucking was.
Good evening. This is DSP.
It's been a while since I've played that whole clip on stream, so that's why I did that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I suppose that last monologue, I should have probably saved that for the ending, but it's alright. One does what one can. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there, at least for now, is the end of the Tevin saga. I wanted to do more justice to Tevin, as much justice to Tevin, I should say, as I could. So, looking at just that situation is not enough. I wanted to show you guys the long-term implications that happens with a situation like this on Phil's part. And I wanted to try to give you guys as best as I could. Give you guys an idea of what Phil was really going to contend with moving forward. Now, at the time that I'm recording this, apparently Tevin's stream from last night, which I missed, is up and whatnot. And Mighty D, shouts out to Mighty D, had said that he got a really nice shout out on there, which Mighty D deserves. If you guys haven't checked out Mighty D's channel, please go over there. Please support. Speaking of which, Mighty D apparently has joined the club. Or, I'm sorry. He's joined the agency over there at the DIA, which I am also a proud member. I am still waiting on my badge, though, proper. But in any case, he's gone over there. And I think he's been christened Agent Mighty D of the DIA. It actually does. And Mighty D is right. It does have a nice ring to it. So go over there. Check out Agent Proper's channel. It's a great channel and whatnot. He's doing great work over there. Also go over there, get yourself a name, get yourself your badge, hopefully not before me, and join the agency. And join the ongoing struggle at the DIA. It's worth your time, I guarantee it. I'll leave the link to Agent Proper's channel down in the description, as well as the link to his latest video. And obviously, I will shout that out in our next broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. This ran a little longer than normal. I had a lot that I wanted to kind of present, but I hope that I hope I didn't waste your time on this. If anything else, I hope I didn't waste your time. But we won't know. At least we won't know right away anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes. A GTG Network and Productions. I am your host / anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. End of broadcast. Oh, actually, one more thing. James Lesser. I will send you some information either probably through Twitter in just a minute, because I saw your last comment asking about how we do the scrolling. There's a couple different ways of doing it, but the way I'm going to tell you is going to be the easiest. All right, man. Well, it's convenient. It's not even easy. It's just convenient. So, yeah, I got you. All right, guys. I'll talk to y'all later.